Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will also want to join my honorable colleagues to commend the FPAC committee and also the mover of this important update. As stated by other members, and according to my findings, I believe that this is also not the latest update from the Accountant General, which is indeed very important, because I believe when it comes to the figures, it should at least go down, the 18 million that is said or mentioned by the mover that it is outstanding. I believe it must be down. Looking at also the period since when we made this resolution, Honorable Speaker, I can tell you I was really touched when my neighbor, my comrade here, said Parliament is the only hope that we have in this country now that can help the executive and also the Gambian people. I think it is very, very important for us to stand firm, especially when it comes to issues that has to do with mismanagement of public funds in this country. And there is need be for us to do all what we can to make sure that all what was mismanaged in terms of funding, I mean public funding, should be refunded and accordingly. And we should not, like other members have said, we should not massage this process. This is not a process whereby we have to look at each other like sideways. We have to look at each other in, let's say, eye to eye to make sure that all these funds are refunded and accordingly. So in that regards, I join my colleagues to commend the FPAC for bringing up this important update. And together, let us do the follow-up. And I believe we can stand together and save this country we call the Gambia. Thank you.
So I am a little bit confused. And I will be very happy if the mover of the motion can help us. But we must take an action. The action is why the office of the Vice President is not updating us. Why? And numerous of those are found in this resolution. Why? And then we need another further step to make sure that we compel the office of the Vice President to come here. He is compelled to give us an update and with a time limit. Because these are things that are really affecting the growth of the country. People must be punished for the wrong that they are doing. They will not be left walking in the street like that. When somebody can be caught with a small box of tie be put behind bar, why the criminal not? No. The office of the Vice President must be held accountable here to tell us why he is not updating us. This is not going to be easy, you know. And also the implementation. If an action is to be implemented, resolution have acts and implementation should be done, especially in the area of the GPPA.
As far as the office of the Vice President is concerned, if you look at the resolutions, they are not pointing to the office of the Vice President. It's the institutions under the office of the Vice President. And the Vice President came over here, take a responsibility to put up all this information we are looking for. In fact, if you remember when he stood here and said, in fact, he was late to get this information, but he took responsibility to ensure that he goes to all these institutions, collect the latest, and then give us. And the police have done their investigation and submitted the file to the Attorney General's office for recommendations and for the next steps to be taken. And all those things you are talking about, COVID, is under the office of the Vice President. So when we met with them 2 weeks ago, the PS came, but the responsibility of this, getting all these updates was given to the DPS, Deputy Permanent Secretary, who was sick at the time. And then this PS could not give us the latest update, but luckily the police were there to support those things. So essentially, that's why we gave them to the end of this month to give us the latest update from the office of the Vice President.
You people that brought up the report, still that there is still room for this thing to be verified, and you give us a report that is telling us no update from the office of the Vice President. I think the committee could have waited until the due diligence is done so that they can finalize it. Because now our interventions might be contradictory to what you are telling us. And this should be on record. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable, I think maybe you are not listening to what I was saying. No. If you were listening properly, you would have understood what I said. I gave updates. I said the latest updates, we could not get, but we've asked the OVP to give us. That is not all this. This is only on things that we are asking the Office of the Vice President. There are others that are giving updates. So we could have waited, fine, but then that means we come here, we cannot say anything. And you will be the same people asking us, what is the update, what's the latest, what's the latest? That's why we came to give you what we have as of today. And by end of September, the OVP, the Auditor General, sorry, the Accountant General's office, and then the Office of the Minister of Justice also going to give us further updates for us to give you. Now, on the issue of imprest from Kiang West, let's explain this clearly. When the imprest, it was categorized from us. We asked them to categorize the imprest. We have people that took the imprest and are still working for the government of the Gambia. And we directed that if they do not submit all the documents, let them start deducting them. As a result, some have provided all the information that was done, but some that did not provide, they're deducting them. And they've deducted close to 4.8 million. These are people that are on payroll working for the government of the Gambia. Now, for imprest that are not on payroll, these are people that are working for the government of the Gambia, but not directly. They are on the parastatals, like PURA, for example. The payroll of PURA is not centralized with the government of the Gambia, so Accountant General cannot deduct them. And this is why, Honorable, is showing here that the imprest for those that are not on payroll, but they are still under the government. The latest on that is this. Well, I don't mind. I can say the person for that particular one was Dr. Njogu Bah. He was not in government. But when the AG realized that he's been appointed at PURA, she wrote a letter to PURA to him that we will start to deduct you. But mind you, the AGD cannot deduct because the payroll is not under her control. It's done independently. So a letter was written to him to come back and reconcile with them and then go forward. So by next time we meet, then we'll be able to tell you exactly what it is. But AGD cannot deduct anything outside the central government of the Gambia. They cannot do that. Now the other issue also was about holders that pass away. There are a couple of them that are no longer alive. Now, what do? We put it back to the Accountant General, to liaise with the Minister of Finance and also the Cabinet to make a decision on that. Parliament cannot make a decision on that because these people are, are no longer, alive. Now, on the issue of the COVID, the issue of the NDMA, the Director General, and all the other issues related to COVID, I told you it's very clear. The police have done their work, and they said they've submitted the file to the AG for advice. And if I remember correctly, they said that was done almost 6 months ago, and they waited for them to advise. Now, we wrote to the Minister of Justice to give us an update, but we are yet to get that update.